Holy South by Southwest, we are at the world premiere of Mrs. Davis, a series about nuns and artificial intelligence, and, well, we're going to let Betty Gilpin and the cast tell us what it's really all about.
Love being here. What a cool city. It's so much cooler than I am.
Unofficially, I guess the motto is keep Austin weird. I like to make weird stuff, so it felt like the ideal place for Mrs. Davis.
I keep describing the show as No Country for Old Looney Tunes. It's like if the Coen brothers snorted cotton candy in the best way.
It's like a Mad Lib that just got completely out of control. Like, okay, the lead is a nun, and she's fighting a computer, and she's got to find the Holy Grail, and her ex is a cowboy. Like, it just kept snowballing into this weird explosion at an emoji factory.
All of my projects, I try to find different creative partnerships. Tara's always had a thing for nuns, and then it was just a matter of figuring out if a nun is a hero, what's the villain? We were really concerned about AI and our reliance on tech, and so it felt like a nun versus technology was sort of a very primal and interesting story that we haven't seen told yet.
I think the good question to ask yourself is, how much stock do we put in social media, in AI? I think asking all those questions coming away from it is going to be interesting to see what those conversations are like.
What's going on is going to be a big question that people will ask, and who are we and what are we doing, and also this is so much fun.
It is a definite Damon project that there's going to be a lot of mystery, a lot of twists and turns throughout.
Working with Betty was incredible. Working with Jake, and the rest of the cast was just a great experience. Best experience of my entire life.
Betty Gilpin is just beyond. We asked so much of her, and she gave it 110.
I can't imagine this show with literally anyone else. She elevated everyone else's performance. The way she can oscillate between serious drama and gut-busting comedy in a sentence is mind-blowing.
She just goes all out, and that's inspiring, and that's the person who you want to be number one on your call sheet.
So guys, that was so much fun. Tara, Damon, take us back to the beginning of all of this. How did this start?
What is wrong with you? Is that your actual question? How did this start?
Microdosing.
My gosh, yeah. No, we got paired up 3 years ago, about this week actually, and we met. We were creatively put together by Warner Brothers, a studio that we both work for, and we're looking for something to do. And just as those talks were starting, California went into lockdown. The pandemic hit. And so, we just, in our respective neighborhoods, we decided let's throw ourselves into creative to get, away from the terrors of this world. And we started going on walks and just sort of spitballing ideas. And inevitably those conversations would sort of devolve into but also are you still washing your groceries? And who has toilet paper? And all of these questions that we had. And, we just decided what if there was an algorithm that could answer these questions? Wouldn't that be amazing? And totally the genesis of the story came from there.
So for you guys, this has been a 3-year process, but for the cast here, Betty, Jacob, Andy, getting involved in this, and does it feel like just AI all of a sudden, discussions of that were just all around you, and could you believe that you were a part of something that was already in process when these discussions stopped?
Yeah, the AI discussions feel even more recent than when we were shooting the show. I had worked with Damon on the movie The Hunt, and I feel like Damon knew that I liked playing unhinged women inside a Wile E. Coyote sort of environment. Both Damon and Tara in this script, when I first read it, I feel like TV feels to me it's either asking the big questions but in a dystopian, super depressing way, or not asking any big questions, escapism, but you feel sort of like it's junk food and you're zoning out from the big questions. And they somehow do both. They ask big questions joyfully, and invented a new genre in my mind. And so the script was an easy yes.
Yeah. So Tara, Damon, what do we call this genre?
What is it, Betty?
No Country for Old Looney Tunes is the genre.
That. Perfect.
Two fits.
Yeah, that was so cool seeing it with an audience, you guys. It's so much better than watching it on my laptop. I can't even tell you. It was really, really, really cool. But yeah, the script was, I mean, so imagine all that, but like reading it is kind of how it was. It was like Mad Libs that snowballed out of control a little bit. And you read something like that, it's so original, and immediately, at least I was like immediately sad that I was like, God, the likelihood that I'm going to get this is so low. So, you know, you fall in love with it, and it's scary because, you know, as we know, falling in love with something is scary. But yeah, just the opportunity to do something like this is so weird and rare, and everybody showed up kind of on the same page to just swing for the fences. I mean, even our guest cast that weren't allowed to read the scripts, they only got the scenes they were in. There was like actors that would come in and be proxying with Miss Davis, finish the scene, do beautifully, and be like, so I'm a hologram, right? And he'd be like, not at all, but you did so good. So yeah, just everybody kind of showed up in every department, just ready to really go for it. And
Let's not rule out holograms.
yeah, well, maybe.
Throw that in a blender.
Exactly.
And Andy, for you, I mean, did you know when you were signing up for this who your character was, and when you found out, what was that like?
I'm just glad that we can talk about it now.
Yeah.
I spent the whole day so nervous not being able to say anything, and now we just saw it. So it was just a joy, and I agree with what both Betty and Jake say. It's a wild ride, and I wouldn't do it with anybody other than these people here.
Totally would. You do it with other actors.
Yeah. No. That's not true. That's not true.
All right. Well, since we've got Miss Davis here, I had to ask ChatGPT a question.
Oh boy.
Oh, wow.
And I asked, you know, if you were going to interview the creators of a TV show about an AI, a powerful AI who may or may not be nefarious, what would you ask? So ChatGPT very much wants to know, how did you balance the AI's advanced intelligence with its potential to become dangerous or malevolent? And what steps did you take to ensure the audience would remain engaged without being scared off?
Oh, ChatGPT.
ChatGPT.
So first off, you just proxied.
I just proxied.
Well, this is you were very good at it. If there's a season 2, there's a home for you there. Look, our fundamental anxiety about how fun it is to use ChatGPT right now is sort of turning into this point at once it becomes advanced enough and you can actually have a conversation with it, what does that mean for the way that we have conversations with each other? And I think that the idea of the show and what Simone is fundamentally representing is this sort of idea of we love tech, we need tech can be a valuable tool, but we also need a champion to push back against it because we're worried about where all of this is headed. So go fuck yourself, ChatGPT. I think it's sort of where I stand now, respectfully understanding.
I will literally say that's the first question I've ever asked ChatGPT.
Yeah, so there you go.
And Betty, coming to this character, just this wonderful character, you have faith, but you're also like the main skeptic of the whole show. What was it that sort of attracted you to that character, and what do you love about that character?
Well, I feel like I often either play sarcastic skeptics with their arms folded or very vulnerable, weepy cardigan people who are completely the opposite. And I feel like Simone maybe started out as the former, as Lizzie, and then her faith has sort of cracked her open into an arms open person, even when she still has one middle finger out. And I think vacillating between those two things, that she is a skeptic and she does have walls up, but then her relationship with her main squeeze, Jesus Christ, has really just opened her arms to the world, whether she likes it or not. And I think that her feeling towards this algorithm which is honestly my feeling towards things like Chat GPT, is that I think we're fucking with something intangible, and we are messing with a portal that we're taking for granted. I'm not a person of faith. I just mean a connection to the inexplicable in life, and having all the answers is maybe not a good thing because you stop asking the big questions. So I think playing her, and it's so weird watching these 2 episodes. I'm like, wow, we're showing the 2 normal episodes. Like, it gets much crazier. Yeah, I wish we just talked about.
Wow. Well, I can't wait to see what's next. So Jake, you just look like you're having so much fun in this role. Is that?
Yeah,
All these crazy scenes and crazy looks.
it's really cool, man. That's really, really fun. And it was on the page too, just like, I mean, who hasn't, been spurned by an ex-lover motivating them to organize an underground resistance to take out AI? It's very relatable. It was really, really exciting to jump into that. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. Like, and the episodes they just get, crazier and crazier. And I wish we could all just sit and watch, honestly, all of them right now. It'd be really great.
So Tara, we have faith, and we have technology, and then we have practical magic almost bridging that gap. Can you talk a little bit about how magic plays a role in this show?
Yeah, I mean, we, in early writing and developing anything, you really, you start with character, and you really want to sort of unpack specifically your heroine. And, we started with our heroine.
That's the female version of hero, not unpacking heroin.
Wow.
Which is, just to be...
Of course.
Because that would have explained some things.
I know, not like that. It's the whole third act. But we really wanted to look at this. Who raised this woman? Who raised this woman who chose faith and is now a champion of faith because she had this amazing relationship with Jesus. And we sort of looked at like who are the ultimate skeptics and magicians, because they have the answers. They're literally creating magic and and always behind the curtain on everything. So it just felt like an amazing place to start her from, as someone who grew up in the world of like everything that seems intangible is totally explained, and then bring her into a relationship that she can explain. And as we saw, is not, openly sharing about, even with Mother Superior, and certainly not Wiley. So it just seemed like it was a nice fit.
And I think that magicians, their job is to convince us actually that what they're doing is real, and technology, and particularly artificial intelligence's job, if it's effective, is to trick us into thinking they're real. And you got to focus on the word artificial in the AI. And so this sort of fundamental idea of that's where we're heading. When we go and see a magic show, they have to trick us and fool us. And the show is really interested in, obviously based on these 2 episodes, but the lies that we tell one another, and how technology can basically aid and abet that.
That's great. So for the cast, you've read the script, you know what's coming, but then you show up on set and you see these amazing just set pieces one after another, from the pianos in the field to the underground lair. What was that like, just seeing? I'm sure a lot of it was in post, but some of that looked very practical and very cool.
Pianos were there, right?
And some of them were, yeah.
Well, yeah, totally. I mean, it's one thing to like read it and try to imagine it, and then walk on set and see everybody coming together to make it real right in front of you. And the attention to detail on these sets was so great. There's one thing that our props department did that I loved that I don't even know if we featured. It was just like in the background, that ongoing gag of all the guys in the resistance snapping their phones constantly. Like the props department had on the wall like a break-in case of emergency glass box with all these different cell phones in it, like as if like we burned through them so fast. So it little things like that weren't even dictated in the script. It's just somebody's idea, having fun with it. It was so collaborative like that. So yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, and I think we really have to give props to our director, Owen Harris, who, yes, exactly,
Yep.
please. Yeah, and the team of artists he assembled, who just did incredible work. And as you can see, these are the only 2 episodes that are in Reno. The show is now going to go on a Grail quest. So they're constantly like reinventing the look and redrawing up plans for sets. So you're going to see all of their amazing work across 8 episodes.
All right. Well, would you like to tell all these fine people what they can tell their friends on how to find this show?
Where is it, Damon?
It always sounds a little dirty when I say it, but you can find it on Peacock.
When?
Which has been so wonderful to us, really. It's been an extraordinary experiment. I think that Peacock was just sort of beginning their original programming. They took a huge swing on us. They've given us literally, I've been doing this job for a long time, but sort of unprecedented creative support. You can only imagine what it must be like to give notes on something like this. But they trusted us and they believed in us. So the show is airing. We're going to drop the first 4 episodes on the 20th of April on 4/20. Some of you may know it was an arbitrary.
Kids always
the
go,
kids
"Woo."
know. And then 1 episode every subsequent week, so you'll get all 8 by basically Memorial Day.
Fantastic. Let's give one more round of applause.
Thanks, guys.
Wow, Mrs. Davis is my new religion. And if you're praying for even more South by coverage, you are in the right place. So keep checking back right here.